Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
It's Car Con Carne. Let's eat in the car. It's Car Con Carne. And now here's the star of our show, James VanOsdol.
Oh, yes.
These are good things.
There's my new dog.
Oh,
There he is. There's Elliot.
on the outside looking in.
Yep.
5 months, you said?
6. It's a big
Wait,
dog.
I think we're actually live. We're looking at your dog through the glass right now. Because as we've established in the past 10 months, being able to see people's dogs in their houses, really the best part of sheltering in place.
Yes, it is. It is. I mean, that's like the whole thing where you have the shared human experience of having a pet is so, calming and so amazing. And they're just so funny and they just know how to play upon your emotional needs at the time. It's cool having a dog.
So you're Dr. Daryl Wilson. This is Car Con Carne. Daryl Wilson is a returning guest to Car Con Carne. He is a favorite. He's been on several shows, specifically episodes 132, 153, 250, 403, and 478.
Geez, I didn't know I had that many. Holy crap. I haven't caught Josh or Dennis. I mean, that's the thing.
You're getting up there. 478 is kind of a cheat because you piggybacked on the Peg Boy interview.
I did. I thought I carried that interview. Is what I did.
You did. So Dr. Daryl Wilson, I've had you on all these other times, and more or less we always talk about your punk rock lineage, your time in Boll Weevils and in and around the punk rock community. I wanted to spend a lot of tonight talking about your role as EMS medical director at Edward Hospital, specifically in the past 10 months, life under the pandemic, your experiences, what you've seen, your opinions, your thoughts. Before we get there, I want to talk about something completely innocuous and far less important than the work you do on behalf of all of us, the medicine side of your world. I want to talk about the Chicago Reader's Best of Chicago 2020 poll. This is happening right now. I've said it before, Dr. Daryl Wilson. I'll say it again. I feel weird asking for people to vote. These contests are kind of squirrely because they really exist to get people to go online and jack up page views, because in turn the newspaper magazine entity hosting these things is able to turn around those page views, make a lot of money. It's to benefit the Chicago Reader. I love the Chicago Reader, but I feel weird kind of feeding into that beast.
But I mean, there's a couple things. I mean, there's definitely, a bunch of categories on there that you want to vote for. I mean, you want to vote for your favorite dive bar, Liars Club. You want to vote for, your favorite podcast, Car Con Carne. You want to vote for...
Hang on. I'm not up for favorite podcast.
Right,
I'm up for best podcast host. And best music podcast.
Yes. So Car Con Carne should get those votes, by the way.
Thank you.
Which
Thank you,
I
Dr.
voted.
Wilson.
I voted. And then there's a show, because not many shows happened this past year. I mean, considering that it's been, curtailed because of our need to distance from each other physically, not socially. We can still socialize in some sense. And we found a way to do that with drive-in shows. And that Peg Boy drive-in show is on there, and that should also be voted for, because, I mean, that was a stacked lineup with Peg Boy, with Local H, with, Jake Burns. And then, of course, the Boll Weevils were on there. The
freaking Boll Weevils.
I know. So that's a stacked lineup.
So, yeah, the best drive-in concerts, Peg Boy is nominated, as is Local H. I think, does Local H, if this Peg Boy show wins, they kind of get
2 awards. They win. They win either way. Local H always wins.
Local H always wins. I love Local H. I do want to mention some of the other nominees, specifically previous guests of Car Con Carne who are nominated. It's hard to mention everyone I know who's nominated, but I figured I want to call out people who've spent time on this podcast and show them some respect. Paul Farivar up for Best Stand-Up Comic. Drive-In Movie Programming. Chicago Drive-In.
Yes.
The day
those guys. Yep.
The day that was announced, Louis jumped on Car Con Carne and talked about it, and he was the first one in the pool. And the work that Chicago Drive-In's done has been exemplary.
Yes, amazing.
My friends at Challengers Comics and Conversation, best comic shop nominee. I go way back with them. Love the work they do. Jill Hopkins. Imagine winning this award, the best Chicagoan to follow on Twitter.
Right.
That'd be a high honor. Also, she's up for best radio DJ. She is fantastic. My old friend, my sensei, Charlie Meyerson, up for Chicago Public Square, best blog and best email newsletter. He does fantastic work. Tremendous journalist. I've had a couple of animal rescue organizations on the show over the past year. 3 are nominated: Harmony House, Paws, and One Tail at a Time. I've had a bunch of spirits on during the pandemic because, well, it was a freaking pandemic. Jepson's Malort is nominated. Koval Bourbon, Koval Oat Whiskey, and Few American Gin. You like Few?
Put a gin is a great drink, by the way, if you're drinking. I think so. My bandmates and we all like gin. So there you go. Except for Mittler. I don't think he likes gin. He likes whiskey, but I mean, well, the 3 of us will drink gin. So
chef and up and coming chef, Haley Raff. I had her on maybe 2 months ago. She's fantastic. She just kind of took the cue from the pandemic to start up her own business. She's doing great. I root for her. Best Butcher Shop, happy to meet you. A former sponsor of Car Con Carne, up for Best Butcher Shop. Best Label, Bloodshot. Scary Lady Sarah, up for Best DJ. She's fantastic. I am nominated, or Car Con Carne is nominated for Best Music Podcast. So is Sound Opinions. Love them. Really, one of the first radio jobs I ever had was producing their radio show. They're up for Best Music Podcast. I've had a couple bluesmen as guests in the past. 2 are nominated that I've had on before: Little Ed and the Blues Imperials and Toronzo Cannon. Best New Band, Rookie was on last year. They're nominated. They're fucking great. Best Pop Artist, Emily Blue. She was on. Jay Ryan. I love this dude's gig posters. Do you know his stuff?
Yeah.
Oh my God. So good. He's nominated. Best Live Stream Concert Series, Hideout's nominated for that.
Nominated. Yep.
Best Punk Band. There's some tremendous nominees in here. Sincere Engineer.
One great fucking band. Deanna, great.
Ganser's nominated. They're more post-punk. They're fantastic.
There's man's missing from that. I mean, come on. Boll Weevils aren't on there. Let's fucking get this right.
Well, there was no new music last year.
That's right. You're correct. You're right. You're right.
Rise Against, also nominated.
Right.
For Best Punk Band, who you can hear interviewed, or you can hear Joe Principi interviewed by Daryl Wilson and a previous Car Con Carne. Best Drive-In Series, our friends at Chicago Drive-In. Just so many great categories, so many great people. I just wanted to call out a few that have appeared on Car Con Carne because I'm grateful for every guest that comes on the show. It really does mean a lot. So
that's a great show, though. I mean, you do a great job. I mean, hosting this, and you're a great interviewer to bring things out of people and get them to talk. I mean, you're my friend and all. It makes it easy to have a conversation. But when you've had people on, and I've seen you working to get that whole, you can see that in motion. Yeah. Yes, you can. And it's amazing to watch you work and do that. I'm telling you, James, I find it to be fascinating. And I'm at my house laughing, sometimes going, that's awesome. The way he's told, I can see how you're working that. And you never showed in your face that you're working. It's just like you're without effort. You're like, okay. And then you go to the next thing. And then afterwards, I know you're like, man, I was lifting weights there to do that one. What the hell? But you do it, man. You really
Some
do.
Interviews are like that for sure. Also Handsome Naked up for Best Hip Hop Group. They're kind of a comedy hip hop group, but they're really funny. The only guest I've had so far that brought puppets into the interview. So
I didn't think about doing that. What the heck?
They brought puppet effigies of themselves, like puppet likenesses. Wow. That's high level, high concept stuff they were doing.
That is wow. Okay, that's up in games right there. I mean, boy.
So it's funny, Dr. Daryl Wilson. Because of the year we've had, I really haven't had a chance to see you or hang out with you, except for that Peg Boy show we mentioned. I saw you from a safe social distance at Chicago Drive-In.
Masks on and everything. It was very good. Thank you for wearing a mask. Yes.
Here's the trip of this whole thing. I took my son, who's very much getting into punk and metal too. And old school, like Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash country, very diverse taste. I took him to see the show. He loved Boll Weevils. Absolutely loved you guys.
Thanks. That was awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So I love to be able to kind of share you with the next generation. It was really cool. But here's the funny thing. One of his new hobbies is collecting records. I don't know where he gets this shit from, but he's
hello. Where did you get it from? DNA passed on.
So one of our hobbies leading up to him going to college this semester was every weekend we'd go record shopping. And one of our record shopping trips took us up 88. And we're going past, I don't know what street it was, but all of a sudden I see your face on a billboard.
Highland Avenue.
That's what it was. Highland Avenue. Yes, sir. I almost drove off the road. I'm like, that's him. That's Daryl Wilson. That's the Boll Weevils dude. He's like, no way. What's he doing up there? I'm like, he's a doctor.
I'm looming over and louting over you. I'm just watching you, and I'm delving into your soul with my eyes. I'm just deeply figuring out what you're up to. That's all I'm doing.
So you're on this billboard representing Edward Hospital. Was that weird? Yes. Having your face go up like that? I
mean, not really, but kind of. It's kind of surreal because I didn't know when it was going to go up. I was there when they were doing the commercial for the campaign that they have for It's Personal, and they were doing still shots, and they took a bunch of still shots, and then they said, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to put it up on billboards, and they'd sent a mock-up of it. I'm like, that's cool. I didn't know exactly when it was going to happen, so I kind of found out when somebody had texted me and said, dude, I just saw your face up on a billboard. I'm like, really? Where is it? And they told me mile marker 134, 88. I'm like, well, that's pretty exact. So I know exactly where it is. And then I started getting a whole bunch of texts of people saying, dude, did you see this? And of course, it's all on social media. Hey, man, look what I saw today. Oh, my God, I almost crashed. I almost drove off the road. Dude, I can't believe your head's up there. Your head's so big, dude. What the hell? And so I told the kids, and my wife, I said, hey, we're going to go see the billboard. The billboard's up. And of course, my kids were like, I don't want to go. I don't want to get out. And I'm like, no, we're going to just do this little excursion. We're going to go out and figure it. So we all got in the car and we drove out and drove out past it and then came driving back, west on 88. And my kids were completely just going, I don't want to. And then my wife goes, hey, there it is. They look over and they're like, oh my God, Dad, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So if they're driving back from the city, because my wife will sometimes take them to the lakefront to go just commune with nature,
sure,
to kind of keep them calm in some sense. And they'll see it. And they were driving back one day, and there's some woman in a car next to them. They're knocking on the window, going, "That's my dad up there! Look up there! That's my dad!"
That's amazing.
So it's kind of cool. That's been fun. But it is, kind of surreal in its own way to have up on a billboard. And I was at my dentist's office, getting my teeth cleaned. And the dentist goes, hey, I just saw your face on a billboard. I'm like, yeah, the one on 88? No, it's on Ogden Avenue. I'm like, what? There's no other billboard. So yes, there's one on Ogden Avenue too, going east on Ogden Avenue, like near 355 Exchange. There's one there too. I'm like, great. There's another billboard. So same picture, same me. Let me try see if I can do it. Let me see. Wait, I had my glasses were off too, I think. I'm like,
oh yeah, I see it now.
Is that me? The pensive look, like look pensive yet inviting at the same time. I don't know how you do that. Pensive, inviting, and
warmly academic.
I didn't have any like patches on my coat. I was wearing a Boll Weevils hoodie too, of all things. So of course, wearing my own merch. Really good. So punk rock of me, right?
I love your merch, by the way. This is one of the newer models.
Yes,
that I'm wearing right now.
The NASA badge, almost. The badge is like the city, the modern city, the city of tomorrow, Chicago.
Stylish in every situation, for every occasion. A Boll Weevils t-shirt.
We can wear that to any formal event that you'd like to, especially online formal events, since they can't really tell you not to wear what you want to wear. You could wear that without pants, sans pants, with pants, whatever you want to do. It all works.
So last March, literally the weekend, everyone came face to face with the reality that, oh, this shit's real. We're staying put for a while. That weekend, I had you, I had Dennis Buckley from 88 Fingers Louie, I had Josh Caterer from Smoking Popes, all on an interview with me for Car Con Carne.
Yeah. And
I remember asking, I haven't listened back to it. I don't listen back to any of my stuff, but I remember listening, or I remember at the time saying, well, Daryl, how serious is this? How bad is this going to get? It feels bad, but how bad is it? And you were upfront. And I remember you were the first person I heard say something along the lines of, you need to take this seriously. You need to respect, hand washing, social distancing, et cetera, because you don't want the hospitals to stack up and have people like me make the decisions about who lives and who dies.
Right.
This is paraphrasing what I'm piecing together from memory, but that was one of my big takeaways from that call.
Right. I mean, the biggest thing that we were really concerned about was trying to, of course, flatten the curve. And what that meant at the time is to, stretch out the presentations of illness that would come to the hospital, not have this big spike of individuals come in and overwhelm the healthcare system. And, we did a pretty good job in the beginning of doing that, to be quite honest. But of course, the sad state of humanity is that we become completely bored with anything, and we don't have the attention span because we're all now settled with some form of ADHD where we can't make stay on task. We can't stay on target, like we should. And it soon becomes tedious in some way. We get this fatigue that leads us down a pathway of self-destruction. I mean, it's so ridiculous. And you think that we have this ideal that we view ourselves as this, we're so resilient, we're so able to withstand all kinds of things, but, we're kind of soft as a society. We're really soft. And we don't have the resilience. You look back on some of the campaigns of vaccinating people versus polio back in the day, and look at the way people just took it upon themselves as citizens to line up and almost make it into an event to go on Sundays and go to the schools and line up and then get their polio vaccines. Now, granted, it was easier to get the Salk vaccine and just drink this thing down, but people realized that there was a scourge that was, attacking individuals. And the reason why I'm not seeing patients in the hospital who I need to put on an iron lung, who have, a disease of paralysis of polio, is because people got vaccinated versus disease. They realized they had to stand up and stop something in its tracks. And the ability to do that was to get herd immunity to things. And we did that. Smallpox, all kinds of things that people stood up for and said, we can do this. Measles vaccinations, all these things that we do that people suddenly became jaded about and politicized and did things that weren't, conducive towards a society functioning together. I mean, we took public health and made it into a public discourse on, do you believe in something or not? And what's your political affiliation? It doesn't matter. It's like, it's your health. And that's not a political, toy. It's not something to be politicized. So regardless of your belief system, you are prone to being a host for these, pieces of genetic material that want to infect you and then propagate and spread to another host, which is a human being as well. And if we stood together as human beings and said, hey, let's stop it in its tracks, it doesn't allow this genetic material to then mutate into more genetic material to then become even easier to transmit or have a change in virulence or something like that. So we've come to a place that I in your mind, you think we're better than this. We're smarter than this as beings. We've gone to the moon, for Christ's sake. And we can't on our own planet stop this tiny little bit of genetic material from propagating because we can't spend enough time away from each other. We can't take the time to respect people by wearing a mask. So I don't spread the disease to you. I can't take the time to maybe not go to a bar for a month and then go later on once the disease is controlled. It's like, I can't control myself that much. Is that how we are as human beings? We're uncontrollable urges. We're just all, id. It's like, it's ridiculous. But yeah, going back to the beginnings of this whole thing, people did take it seriously, more so. But once again, our resolve got weak, or people's resolve got weak. And it it made it harder at one point. At one point in the months when we were early on into this, there was some time that it felt overwhelming in the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
It was, really wild and crazy. It was wild, wild west stuff. And we were running and gunning like it was, we thought things were going to collapse. Luckily things did not. We weren't at a point where we had to make those, decisions about, if somebody had to be bypassed or you didn't have to, you couldn't give resources to individuals because we didn't run out of them.
I can't imagine.
But that's the fear you have, is that suddenly it's not just you're overwhelmed with COVID patients, but we still have to take care of the patients who have heart attacks, the patients who have, other respiratory diseases, patients who are traumatic events. We have to take care of those patients as well. And if there's no capacity to do that, everybody suffers. So we didn't reach that point, and that's good. But it's not to our, it's not because people didn't try, it's not that people didn't try, but we were able to weather the storm. But you hope that there's learning that comes out of this. I mean, advantages that have come out of this, to be quite honest, because people have been, masking and, the schools haven't been in, because there's been, such social distancing and physical distancing. I mean, flu, we're not seeing that, think about that. If you added, influenza on top of this, oh my God, we'd have been just thinking about how the flu season usually is for us when we're running ragged. Add that in, and then it's like, oh my God, we're toast. And the good thing is that because of the lack of individuals being in school, specifically kids being in school, the people social distancing and washing hands and wearing masks, we're not seeing a viral load of other illnesses around at this point.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's the advantage.
Yeah. I mean, I get the flu every year. I get my flu shot every year, but I always get some form of the flu. It never fails.
But know what happens? You don't go to the ICU and you don't die.
Exactly. But my point is, I haven't been sick at all this year because I'm not interacting with anybody. Right.
But I'm saying the advantage of, getting the vaccine is that, mortality from flu is like, 0.2%, but you don't see people, dying because when you have some immunity to the disease process, even if we pick wrong for the vaccine, you get some immunity. So you don't die, you don't get extremely sick. So that's the good stuff. It's really distressing to have, individuals who still don't believe that we should be, taking precautions to protect our society. And
how do you even address that? This has been the most infuriating thing to confront over the past year. It's been upsetting. It's unsafe, unwise train of thought. And I don't know what else can be said? I mean, what other information needs to be put out there?
Philosophically, it's like, I guess go arma fate, you love your fate, and you just have to say everything's cool no matter what, because you can't control other people. I can only control my response to things, right? I mean, that's the reality. If I tried to control everybody else, I'd have to have, Xavier's powers and basically say to me, my X-Men, and then have everybody doing my stuff. That's, it was coming at some point.
There it is.
But I mean, it's the reality is that you can only control yourself, and you have to be an example. And realize that in the world every day, you're going to run into some people that are definitely anti, moving in a direction that's forward, and that you shouldn't be surprised when you run into them. But you have to continue to be the example that is showing the right path, the light to go down. Everybody's going to believe that their path is as correct as it can be. But the reality is we as human beings are vectors for this disease. And until we can actually control our behaviors to, curtail the spread, it's going to continue to do that. And we'll reach herd immunity and hopefully people are going to get vaccinated. And that's the way we're going to do that in a rapid and safe fashion. But it's like the way people want to run it is those that don't want to get vaccinated take the risk of getting the disease. And, we take a 1 in 200 chance of dying. Those are some odds that you don't want to play. It's probably those odds are much better than winning the $1 billion tonight, right? I mean, it's like,
Yes.
so I mean, I bought my lottery ticket. I'm probably not going to win that, but I also protected myself against, getting severe COVID by getting vaccinated, because I know I have a better chance of getting that and succumbing to it. So I don't want to win that lottery. I want the billions. I want the $1 billion, but I don't want the 1 in 200 chance of, dying from COVID. So
Hey, you kind of addressed this already, but it seems like our biggest challenge between now and when we reach that herd immunity peak is complacency, is just the fatigue of this staying at home world. People just get too restless. You said ADHD. I feel like that's the biggest challenge right now until everyone gets a needle in their arm.
Right. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Until you have, people getting vaccinated, and you can have vaccines all you want, but if people aren't getting vaccinated, it doesn't do anything to help to reach herd immunity. Right. So one thing we have to work on is, of course, the logistics of getting more people vaccinated. Right. There's a multitude of factors that lead to, the rollout being somewhat, we're doing pretty well here in Illinois compared to other places, but even then we could probably be doing better.
I just saw it today. I think Kroger, Mariano's, the drugstores, like they're all signed on to help distribute the vaccine.
Right. So right. And so once you get, vaccines there, you got to have people that can administer it. You got to have a way of tracking it, all these things that go into it. And right now, we had, the 2 vaccines that are out there, the Pfizer and the Moderna. And a part of the logistics on that was, the storage of these things was difficult. So that made it somewhat, time sensitive and how you organize that and how you make that work. But I mean, as more vaccines roll out, I mean, looking at how the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, the, modified adenovirus, that, that is going to be a game changer from the standpoint of, one shot and, the ability to store it. That's going to be a way that mass vaccination is going to occur in a truly mass vaccinating way. So, and until that time, we still have to work with what we have and get, shots into arms, working on the 1B people, working on, the police officers and teachers and, 65-year and older patients. But, as, we get more and more vaccines available, the opportunity to mass vaccinate and have herd immunity reached in a rapid succession is key. Is people going out and getting, easy access to getting vaccines. That's the thing. I mean, you can't make this some kind of, hurdle to jump over to get vaccinated. For people, it has to be ease of use. I mean, we've become a society that everything has to be ease of use. And to make sure that it's done, in a way that's safe and effective, as well as easy to have the regular lay person go in and get vaccinated. That's the thing that's going to game change everything, to make sure that you have a one shot, ease of use, easy access. And to point out that you had this rollout without a national template on how to do it. Yes, the United States is a, mosaic, and it's got all kinds of different geographic areas and different economic areas, and everything is kind of a mosaic of things. And you have to at least have a national template to say, this is what you have to do as a minimum to get this done. You can't just say, we got vaccines, here you go, figure it out. It's like, okay, we'll figure it out, but it puts you behind the 8 ball in some sense. If you have a national template that says, everybody do this minimum, and if you can do more in your area, do more. If you have to meet this minimum, though, this is what everybody has to meet to get this. And if you can do more, go ahead and do more, but at least reach this minimum and give that template to everybody so that everybody knows at least what to start with. And then they can also tailor it towards their geographic area, to their patient populations. That's the way things you think would work in a fashion that would be smoother, instead of like, here's like kickball. You got to run to get the ball as fast as you can, and then you have no plan. There's no team plan. It's like, just throw the ball and hit Susie in the face and knock her out of the game. she's their arm. Get her out of the game. So,
well, how did it feel? You were one of the first to get a vaccine locally.
Yeah.
Tell me emotionally, what was going through your head?
I actually I started playing like the theme song from The Mandalorian when I was walking in to kind of get myself all hyped. But it was like an emotional, a weight being lifted off your shoulders. It really was, because it made you feel that you were swimming towards the surface of water to take a breath. I mean, you could see the surface of the water. You can't take a breath at it because you'll drown, but you could see the surface of the water. You've been underwater all this time. You think you're going to drown, and you're making headway towards the surface, and you can now start to see the light from the sun shimmering on the water on the surface, and it's there. And that's what it kind of felt like, that you were getting closer, the pressure coming off of you. The vaccine itself, it was my arm, it felt a little sore, and that was it for the first one. The second one, my arm was more sore the second time, but nothing that was, detrimental to my functioning of the day. And I had some chills, but nothing beyond that. It
sounds like the flu shot. I mean, that's what I have experienced when I get the flu shot. My arm hurts
and I know maybe I didn't manifest an immune response. Maybe I'm not immune. So maybe that is no. I mean, it was a weight coming off the shoulders. It truly was feeling that we are coming out of a dark tunnel. We're still in it, but you can see the light. And it made me feel, that I was doing something to protect, not only myself, but to protect the people I take care of in the hospital, to protect my family, to protect my friends, to try and help businesses open up again. It's doing your part. It felt like a duty that we should do as citizens. That's our duty, to make sure that we protect citizens of not just the United States, but citizens of the world. We're humans on this planet, and the virus is everywhere. So we're doing our best to protect everyone here. We have no other place to go right now. So like, do your best to protect the people around you. And that's my goal. That's my profession. I have to take care of people, right? So I got to take care of myself to do that. I can't take care of people if I'm sick. I can't put you at risk of getting sick. So when I take care of fragile patients, if they aren't protected, I got to at least protect myself. So I couldn't do that. I mean, yeah, granted, I wouldn't be at work if I was sick, right? That's the thing. And, but the key thing is making sure that I'm protecting society so that it doesn't go like, hey, maybe I get exposed and I get sick, and my bubble happens to have people that leave my bubble and they get somebody else sick, who then gets somebody else sick down the line. And it happens to affect a patient of mine somewhere down the line. I would be mortified if that happened. As healthcare providers, it's our duty to be healthy. It's our duty to be the beacon of, this is how we protect our fragilest people around us, children, our fragile patients, everybody. So it felt good to get the vaccine. I felt, I was waiting to get my superpowers, but nothing happened out of that, but it was a weight off my shoulders, most definitely.
So I mean, leading up to vaccination the past year, say March through December, what was it like working in the hospital, working with the other healthcare providers, the doctors, the nurses, the personnel? Was there just a vibe of, we just got to get through it? Was there palpable terror, concern, paranoia, stress, or were all those things there in fits and starts? I mean,
in the beginning, everybody was terrified, right? I mean, we didn't know what to expect. We thought that we were going to get exposed and we had the risk of dying. That's what we figured, that we're going to get it, and someone's going to get it, and one of us could die. I mean, that's you have to think about, right? And every day you went through your rituals of, changing out of your clothes. You didn't bring anything home. You didn't do, you basically almost like you had to do a silkwood scrub, like I talked about, and that's what you did. I'm like Cher, I'm scrubbing down, silkwood. That's a reference that many people won't get, but anyway, some people will.
I'm here for it.
So in the beginning, since we had, bits and pieces of information and we were just learning about it in real time, it was pretty terrifying.
I bet.
But then you realize what you sign on to do in your profession puts you at risk for exposure to a multitude of things. And so it's not like you didn't know what to do to protect yourself. We had protections in place. And if you follow the protocols to protect yourself, then there's no risk of you getting exposed or ill. If you go outside of that, then of course you take the risk. If you don't cross in a crosswalk, you're going to have a risk of getting hit by a car. That's what happens. You can still get hit by a car crossing the crosswalk, but it's less likely to occur if you cross with the light, right? So as long as you did the things that you knew would keep you in the crosswalk, you should be protected. So we did that, and we didn't get sick. And as we then were, taking care of patients over time, we of course felt more, comfortable dealing with it, but realizing that it's still a risk every time that you would go into this arena. And those that were in the arena with you, you had a solidarity with them. They were our we're the war bound. We were together. And you have to look at the people that are doing. It's not just us as the physicians who are there. It's respiratory therapy who is so exposed. God bless everybody who's a respiratory therapist. God bless all the nurses, all the techs that are there, the registrars that are there that are actually risk of exposure, radiology techs, and the people who have to go in and sanitize the rooms.
Right.
I mean, that's God bless them, because that's what has to be done too. Rooms have to turn over, and that's everybody's at risk because we're all in the same arena. And so it was terrifying in the beginning, but as we learn to live in this situation, you become comfortable, right? I mean, if you live around, the ocean, I mean, you learn how to respect the ocean, right? You don't just willy-nilly go in at high tide and lay out there and just, expect to not be drawn in by the undertow. You know how to respect the ocean. If you're a surfer, you respect the ocean, right? You know how to surf and respect where the currents go. So as we're surfing this wave of illness, you learn how to respect it and learn how to understand how to navigate in your day-to-day with this as well. It was a lot of modifications to things. I mean, I'll probably still do some of those modifications carrying on. Like, I mean, I didn't typically change out of my scrubs, at work and come home in other clothes. I didn't, but I think that's why not do that. I mean, why change that pattern? So definitely my behaviors have changed, and because my behaviors changed, it kept me from getting sick. And that's the thing. And I think a lot of us have weathered this, and we're glad that there's vaccinations, and we feel that weight off our shoulders. You could see all the people posting their vaccination.
I love it.
I got mine. I mean, we took our shot. It was liberating. It's liberating. So we went from total terror, sheer terror, to a feeling of empowerment and feeling that you are doing your best and you feel liberated in some sense. You could weather the storm, and if we can go through this, we can go through anything, is how you feel in the end.
I like hearing that. Speaking of complacency and just how the days blur together, we're in this constant fire hose of information. The news cycles are never ending. I put the brakes on and paid attention to COVID numbers today. The Illinois cases to date are 1.09 million. Like, I looked at that number. I thought, I know that's right, but I guess I've been so numb to the constant data that's been pouring across my multiple screens that I haven't really let that sink in. That's a stunning number. That's Illinois. But
then you look at mortality is not a million people.
20,423. Right.
But still, the thing that we don't know, and this is the concerning thing in the end, is we don't know the long-term sequelae from this. The the idea that you get this, vasculitic kind of response, and that there can be long-term effects cardiovascular wise with you, or pulmonary wise with you, or neurovascular effects that we just don't know what the long-term, morbidity is associated with it. So even people with mild cases can have these kind of deleterious long COVID symptoms that occur. And we don't know how long that can go. We just don't know. And so that's why it's better to avoid the disease entirely. I mean, if we had locked down everybody for, 6 weeks, like hard lockdown, we probably wouldn't be in this conundrum. We probably wouldn't be in this situation that we're in, where there's still this, uncontrolled fire. It's getting better controlled, but the fire keeps raging, So that's the fearful thing, is that who knows what happens to that 25-year-old who had a, moderate case, who didn't get hospitalized, but had, some respiratory issues, but didn't get hospitalized. Who knows what's going to happen to their lungs, in 5 years or 10 years.
It's a scary thought. And that makes perfect sense to think like that. We just don't know.
What happens when, hey, I'm a healthy 25-year-old who could, run marathons. And then in 5 years, you can't walk 2 flights of stairs. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that we just don't know. That's what caused me most of the fear. It wasn't that, yeah, you could die. I mean, I wasn't at high risk of death, but if I got it, what complications might I develop that might be long-term for me? I don't know. I don't want to open that mystery bag up. That's not where I want to sit there and say, oh, let's open Pandora's box. See, oh, there's hope at the bottom. And there's also, death and fear and, pestilence and all this other crap coming out of the box. Like, geez, Pandora, what the hell? Quit opening that damn box.
Well, I think I said it to you before. One of the things I find so confounding and scary about COVID is you'll get the reference. It's like the Terrigen mists.
Yeah. Yes.
Back in the day, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby created a group of people who lived in a far secluded place. They were called the Inhumans.
Yep.
And they were exposed to Terrigen mists. And these mists would grant each Inhuman a totally different set of powers and abilities. You didn't know one person could turn into a Birdman. The other person could turn into a blob. The other person could have super speed. You just never knew. That's the way I feel about COVID. One person could be hospitalized. The other person could feel nothing. The other person could have a, horrible respiratory problem for a week or two. It seems to be just a spin of the wheel with every case.
But you don't become like Black Bolt, where you can't speak, or destroy planets with your voice.
One of the coolest costumes in comics, period.
Right.
Black Bolt.
Right. I mean, just whisper and destroy things. That's the thing. I mean, what the hell?
I love the look. Neil Adams made him look even better than Kirby did. We digress. But this is bonkers, right? I mean,
yes, it is. It's still seeing, still see some young people that get sick. I mean, one of the risks that is so concerning is that, body mass index greater than 35. If you're really got a big body mass index, I mean, your risks of developing severe disease are astronomical. And think about that. We have a population in the United States that are just unhealthy. And it's like, so you wonder that, oh my God, these Terrigen mists are just going to cause, wreak havoc on people. But then again, you're right. You find that there's people that you go, hey, somebody's 92-year-old grandma does well. And you get, a 35-year-old guy who comes in, who's got diabetes and is got a high body mass index and hypertension, who ends up being in the ICU. It's like that's the wild and crazy. So, I mean, you think about this. The biggest thing about health in general is if you go into a situation and you're at the peak physical health that you can be in, peak mental health, you're probably going to come out okay. But if you go into a situation and your health is already just, teetering on the edge, that's just the tipping point where you get pushed over really easily. So trying to, lead a healthy lifestyle as much as you can to kind of, prevent severity of illness in the first place, with any illness, is the way to go. I mean, that's just the way to go. Yeah. And it's not trying to disparage anybody. It's just trying to say, if you go into something healthy, you might come out with a better outcome, and more likely you will.
Bill Maher's been beating that drum all year long too.
It's just the truth. It's just the truth. You know?
It's so weird. I have relatives. We all know people who've been affected by COVID at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yes.
I have a couple close relatives who both had COVID. Interestingly, one of the two people hospitalized for 2 weeks. It was horrible. It was really scary there for a while. The other one who had COVID, the spouse, lifetime history, decades of respiratory problems, illness, got COVID, totally asymptomatic.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking when that person got COVID, oh shit, this is the last thing that person. And then the exact opposite of what I would have expected happened. I'm like, I don't understand any of this.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. There's so many random things that occur, and at points you just go like, it's COVID. You just start saying, that's COVID. You know, it's like, could I suddenly have the ability to see in the future? Could be COVID. I don't know. You know, it's like that. That's the thing.
Precog.
It's like, right. Precog. You're right. Right. You know, we got call upon you to solve crimes before they happen.
Uh-huh.
So, you know, it is that whole thing of the weird and strange, and it's like living in these times that are just so weird and strange, and you're like, oh, that can't happen. Like, well, it could, you know. You think that, you know, that suddenly there'd be some kind of insurrection taking. No, it couldn't happen. Oh, it could, you know. You know, think COVID will make that person sick? Well, I don't know. It could. Maybe. So it's all kinds of things that are like, you just do this. You're like, it's like Michael Jordan shooting 3-pointers. You're just like walking back. You're like, I don't know. COVID.
So the symptoms, I mean, do you see, similar to the types of effects you see with people, do you see a variety of symptoms, or are there some symptoms that kind of stand out more than others when people come in? Like,
I mean, you get people with, you know, these massive headaches that they're definitely coughing, fever, you know, short of breath, diarrhea, you know, lack of sense of smell and taste is the key, you know, one of those key kind of factors. People go, hey, I'm missing this. And then suddenly
that's got to be so
COVID.
weird. That's got, I've seen a lot of people talk about that's got to feel and seem so strange.
Right. And so you get presentations where people don't think COVID, but it's like, we've been seeing this for such a long time that we know this probably could be COVID. And like, there's no way. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, my bubble is tight. There's nobody in my bubble. I'm like, your bubble's probably a lot looser than you think, you know, when you really think about it, that people enter into your bubble and they've had people entering their bubble, which is where the exposures happen. So unless you have people that are locked in, you know, a basement and you put a saw next to them and say, here, try and get out of here. You got this little puppet. You got to get out of here in this time. You know, I mean, you're definitely having some exposures at this point. You know, I mean, those people in saw would probably not get, you know, COVID because they're all in one spot.
Yeah, but actually COVID seems preferable to those choices they have to make. Got to be honest. I'd rather throw the dice on COVID than Jigsaw. So it's you're right. People's bubbles are not as airtight as they think.
Right. And people come in, they go, you know, I got this headache and I think it's a migraine. I'm like, have you ever had migraines before? No, but this is probably, I'm like, nah, it's this intractable headache. It could be a bleed, but it could be COVID. Have you had any other symptoms? Yeah, I've been feeling more fatigued than usual. I've had some chills. Like, yeah, it's probably COVID. No, there's no way it's COVID, doctor. It's probably COVID. You have any diarrhea? Why? Yes, I've been having diarrhea too. I thought it was the food that I ate. It's probably a COVID burger that you had. It's probably COVID.
I've been stressed out. I do a lot of the grocery shopping for my house, and going to my local grocery store, I see ding-dongs there every week, not understanding how respiration works, wearing the mask under the nose, not adhering to social distancing. And it really stressed me out. It took me, Dr. Daryl Wilson, until this week to finally go all in on Instacart. What a revelation that was. There were just bags of groceries waiting for me on my doorstep this morning. How have I not done that until today or this week?
I seriously, I hadn't gone to the grocery store. I hardly go anyway. My wife would usually go, and I mean, what an asshole I am. I'd send her out into go into the COVID world, go out into the wasteland. Maybe the mutants won't eat you. I'll just sit here. I'll defend the house. It's like, bring the food back though. Bring all the food back. Make sure you bring enough back and get that food I asked for. I mean, it's like, I hadn't gone like to a store or anything like that forever. And it was weird because, yeah, I mean, I got vaccinated and I'm still, of course, you're wearing a mask because I mean, there's 5% chance I could still develop the disease or, and I could still transmit it unwittingly to my kids, I don't want to do that. So I, went to the store and went shopping. And it was like just a weird, I'm like, this is what a store is about. Aren't there supposed to be arrows that tell you where to go? They don't do that anymore. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Oh, but the thing is though, honestly, the amount of time you spend next to a person in the store is so minimal. I mean, and people are like totally skittish to not be near you when you walk into the place. It was strange. I mean, and then I realized that all these new cereals that are out, I'm like, they have a cereal that, oh my God, there's a cereal that's made of like honey bun cereal. Oh my God. I can't believe that they have a cereal like this. I was amazed at the things that have been invented and put into stores now because I haven't been there for all this time. But we went to on our anniversary, we went to Oak Brook. I hadn't been there forever. That was back in November, and I was freaked out because I wasn't vaccinated yet. I didn't want to go any place, and there was nobody really there. But I felt like, why do I need to be in a mall? There's no reason to be here at all. And it was like, my wife's like, what do you want to get? I'm like, I don't want to get anything. I just want to get out of here. I don't even want to be here. This is weird to me. And then I started to realize that I am not so anti-consumerism, but I thought that a mall is it's a pretty dumb place to be at. And there's nothing here that I couldn't get online and have it brought to my house and basically lock myself in. I could just look out my slats, make sure it drops off, and then grab it through the slat and pull it in and be done and not to leave my house. I guess that it's working to the point where all of us are going to be in our houses. I'm going to have my 5G chip that was put into me since I already got my.
Oh, right. Yeah. You're tagged now.
I'm tagged now, but they'll already know I'm in the house. They'll just go, where's he at? Sitting at his desk talking to James VanOsdol right now. That's what he's doing. He's like
James VanOsdol. We don't have him yet.
I know, right? We got to get him close. Close. Wilson will pull him in.
Oh, wait, he's in radio. He's not essential. He'll get the vaccine in 2025.
I did get a message that just said, I must kill the queen is what it kept saying to me. So I just didn't know what that was all about.
Totally unrelated, but I just thought of it. The remake of Manchurian Candidate, I think is great.
You know what? That was brought up in a conversation after we were getting vaccinated. And so somebody brought that up to the conversation. I just started laughing. I'm like, and the new one was good. I agree.
I
it was quite good. It was good. It was good.
That was 2004. Liev Schreiber is great. Meryl Streep is just evil and fantastic in that one. Jeffrey Wright's in it. It's
good. It's good. That's a blast from the past. It's good.
I kind of want to rewatch that because I'm out of stuff to watch.
What do you mean you're out of stuff to watch?
I've run out of horror movies. I've got nothing. I did give WandaVision another try today. I haven't watched the third episode yet, so don't spoil it. I did not like the first two.
What are you talking about? God, come on, man. Are you kidding me?
It looked like the writers, directors, and producers were just really impressed with themselves and they wanted you to know it. It was.
Oh my God. It's so, I can't believe you didn't enjoy that. You weren't watching it with a different eye because being a comic book geek like we are, that you didn't watch it and go, oh, this is pretty good. That you already know. I mean, there's so much that's so, there's a lot of obvious stuff they're throwing out there to geeks like us that is like, my wife and I watched it and she was like, oh, this is pretty good. But she didn't get the nuanced there. It's not really nuanced. The stuff they were throwing out, I'm going, I think I already know what the plot line. I think I know what's happening here. I mean, it's got to be related to this. I'm not going to say spoilers or anything. I think it is, but I'm looking at it from all these different Scarlet Witch stories and, Vision stories and the way that it can go and throw all this, Kevin Feige stuff into the mix to me, it's, I know it's a launching point for stuff. So I'm anticipating how it goes. I mean, come on, with Sword thrown in there. Come on, man. I think
they're taking too long to get to where they need to go. That said, I thought episode 3 was much better.
Okay. I'm going to watch it tonight.
I was full on board with this episode.
Well, it's like everything. You got give it a chance. Once again, you're like every other person in society. No, you didn't. It's like everybody in society. This isn't hitting me already at the first 5 minutes. I'm not going to watch this. Come on,
the first hour. I gave it an hour.
That's just I can't argue with you. Okay, fine. That's your choice. It's your choice. We can agree to disagree.
If I can't connect with the story in the first 60 minutes, I feel like something's missing.
You weren't trying to look in and say, let me look for the Easter eggs. Let me start looking into this and see what the symbolism is of everything. Let me, of course. Okay. We had this conversation, I think, before, and this, I know I'm going to go off into another thing. We talked about Joker, right? Mm-hmm. And how I watched it and I told you how I felt about it, that it was like, well, I watched it and I had to keep putting things into the story to remind me that it was a supposedly involving Gotham and all these other things. Because if you take Gotham out of it, you don't even think about the Waynes or anything about that. It's just a falling down taxi driver.
Driver, King of Comedy.
Yes, that's all it is. And those movies were great, but to have this kind of movie, it wasn't as grandiose and great without adding in the extra things that a geek like me or you would add to it. So maybe WandaVision's that way too, that maybe I'm adding in too many things because I'm adding in, I'm thinking of all these other stories that involve Scarlet Witch.
I don't think it stands up on its own. I really don't. The cuteness of these sitcoms, they've driven it home for the past 90 minutes. It's time to get on with the bigger picture.
So maybe I'm adding in. I'm doing that right now. Okay, so I'm going to look at it with a different eye.
That's fair.
I still think you're wrong. I'm super glad to you.
Our mutual friend Dennis Buckley is on team Dr. Daryl Wilson. He just wrote instant grat of VanOsdol.
Right. Thank you, Dennis.
And by the way, Dennis, VanOsdol's one word. Dick.
A dick is an animal that is, one. There you go.
Also on the Facebook Live, a couple of more positive, wholesome things. Dan says, thank you for your service, doctor.
Thank you.
Christopher says, looking good, brother. Keep up all the great work.
Thanks, Chris.
Terry says, thank you for everything you do for our community. Alejandro, just reinforcing who you are, what you do. Punk rock doc, that is you. And Maddie says, Goons. Maddie says it's deeper under the surface.
It is deeper under the surface.
Of course, that's the whole idea. Yeah, and we see, you get to see some darkness in the new WandaVision, which gave me hope.
Yes,
things are starting to crack.
I'm watching episode 3 tonight, and I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna text you immediately and go, you don't know anything about this.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm on board as of this episode.
Okay, we should have been on board for the first time. I mean, I'm on board. I'm on board. I'm driving the ship. I'm like piloting the ship. Come on, man.
No, I'm super excited for Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I'm excited for this. You know, I'm excited for Moon Knight when that comes. I'm excited.
Absolutely.
For Moon Knight.
You know what I'm not excited for? She-Hulk.
Why not?
Because they're going to make it a comedy.
But She-Hulk kind of comical in some senses. Come on. In some, okay. Yes, there are some runs that were not comical at all, but think about She-Hulk in some sense. A lot of that with, the awesome android and, it's funny. Everything about it was kind of sitcom-y funny.
I agree. The most recent runs, very funny, very entertaining, definitely lighthearted. The idea of Disney doing a She-Hulk 30-minute legal comedy scares me.
But there's a chance that maybe Matt Murdock could show up.
That is true. That is the rumor. Charlie Cox is said to have signed on for a bunch of stuff.
I mean, that to me is... Listen, think about this. Think about when we were kids and the opportunity. We've talked about this before. The opportunity for to have even any of these things live action. Right. Who would have thought they're going to put Moon Knight on? That to me is like going like way deep. And they're going to make Moon Knight more relevant. I mean, we like Moon Knight, but everyone's like, Moon Knight? Who's Moon Knight? He's the broke ass Batman? Like, no, he's kind of a insane dude who's...
Dude, we're getting a Shang-Chi movie.
I know. It's like, really, who thinks about that? Now, granted, there's going to be some bones in there that are probably not going to make it right. They're going to be a little on the fringe of being acceptable. I mean, that whole Inhumans series.
Oh God.
Yes. See.
Since we're on the topic of comics, I want to bring this back into present headline news stuff. The Bernie Sanders memes have been fantastic across the board. That really was. It brought everybody back together after we are a nation that needs healing, and this brought us all together. I think my favorite one, hands down, is one I'm going to share. If you're listening, I apologize you can't see it, but we'll talk about this. Sal Abinanti is a longtime comics artist, friend of the comics community. He is the agent to superstar comic creator Alex Ross. He posted this yesterday. I think this is the greatest Bernie Sanders meme to date. It is the cover of All-Star Comics number 3 from the 1940s, the first appearance of the Justice Society of America.
That's
in
perfect.
this picture, seated around the table are the Atom, Sandman, the Spectre, the Flash, Dr. Fate, Green Lantern, Hourman, and replacing Hawkman at the table is an illustrated version of the Bernie Sanders meme in the jacket with the mask on and the mittens. This is the best, isn't it? This wins it all.
That is good. That wins. I mean, it's getting a little overplayed, but you know what? I vote for that. I accept that. That's awesome. That's awesome. I like
the illustration. That's it.
Oh my God. That's perfect.
And
That's perfect.
I mean, if you really want to analyze it further, in the original All-Star Comics cover, Hawkman has his arms folded.
Yes,
So
he does. You're
Bernie
right.
Sanders with his arms folded is a perfect, like, this is so well done and so well thought out.
And the chair is made of nth metal as well. That's what I'm saying.
All right. So
The Rand-Thanagar War should have never happened in the first place.
God, that is Dr. Daryl Wilson.
Oh man.
Uh-huh. All right. So I just wanted to catch up with you. We always talk about punk rock and comic books and stuff like that, but yeah, you are in it. You are living this life that we all are kind of watching from afar, and we're rooting for you, and we're appreciative of what you've been doing. And
I appreciate everybody's support, though. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, everybody who's doing this, like I said, don't think of just us as physicians. Think of all the people that are working in the hospital setting, from, respiratory therapy specifically to the people that are cleaning rooms, to any of the volunteers that are there. Think of our paramedics that are out there on the front lines, our, police officers who are still out there. I mean, everybody who's out there, think about the people that are frontline workers, working in meatpacking facilities and who will supply us with food. I mean, all those people out there that are risking exposure to this disease. We have a brighter day is ahead of us, and that's the good thing. We're just not there yet. There's still a lot of clouds that are in the way. But we're going to reach the surface. We're going to get out of this. And it just takes us all working together, because we can do it. We know we can.
Mm-hmm.
It just takes all of us making the effort to move in a forward direction.
all right, before I let you go, talk to me about Boll Weevils. What's going on?
Oh, we got, we've recorded. We have new music that's, it's been mastered. We're just now looking at options of how we get out to everybody. I have to say, and I'm not usually one to boast about it, but I'm really, 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 really proud of what we recorded and what it sounds like. The songs, I'm really proud of it, and I'm excited for people to hear it. It's been a long time coming. And I think people are going to be really happy about it. I mean, I did share it with you. I will admit that I shared it with you.
I didn't know if I could say anything.
Yes, yeah. I did share it with you. You can say anything you want. You just, and your face says it all. You can say it, James. You can say, it's really good.
I love it. We'll talk about it when the music's out there. I don't want to spoil anything. There's a direction turn on one of the songs that I wasn't expecting, just sonically something really different. Some familiar favorites reimagined or done for the first time in some cases. Some lyrically heavy stuff going on. I'm excited for people to hear it too. I'm thrilled I got to hear it when I did. And I look forward to being able to talk about this with you and other people.
Oh yeah, it's I'm so excited for this. I mean, I haven't been really saying a lot about it, but I know that the other guys have been talking about it, and I concur. It is some of the best stuff I think that we've recorded. And I'm so excited for people to hear it. It's really good. It's really good stuff.
All right. So we're going to wrap up the interview. Thank you everybody for listening and or
thanks
watching.
everybody. Yep.
Much
thanks everybody.
appreciated.
Really appreciate it, guys. Seriously. Thank you guys.